Let's take a look at the Russian government structure. First off, we'll start with the president and some foreign powers that the president holds. The president has all the foreign powers to appoint ambassadors. They can recall the ambassador. Any international talks, deals, goes through the president, and the president can also sign treaties. The president has that military power as commander in chief, appoints all the high commanders, approves the doctrine for their defense department, can declare martial law and state of emergency, um, and then heads the Russian Security Council. The appointment powers, which are definitely important in Russia, appoints the prime minister to the Duma. So the individuals are elected in the Duma, then the prime minister is appointed by the president. Submits candidates for the State Duma for the chairman of the central bank to control that portion of their economy. Submits candidates for the Federation Council for justices. So the Federation Council has to approve them, but for the justices of the Constitutional Court, Supreme Court, and then other government officials. Some of the legal powers can issue decrees, which are similar to executive orders. Basically, they force law without actually having to go through the Duma and creating a legislative act. Can also dissolve the State Duma, which is the parliament, and the Federal Assembly. Can schedule a referendum, and it currently is limited to 2 consecutive 6-year terms. And this has changed over the years due to Putin made the terms longer and has said consecutive, but never said how many terms total or how many years total. Elections, again, might not always be fair in Russia. In 1993, the Constitution was created, the newest one. You can be impeached as a president in Russia for grave crimes of treason. Basically, the Duma files those charges. The Supreme Court must confirm that those actions actually were a crime. Then there's a constitutional court, checks to make sure the proper procedures are being followed. The Duma has to vote 2/3 to proceed, and then the Federation Council will act as the jury to see if they should be removed by a 2/3 vote. Prime Minister will take over until a new election is called in the next 3 months. So looking at their Federal Assembly and their legislative branch made up of 2 houses, the State Duma, 450 members, half are elected single-member districts, the other half in proportional with a 5% threshold. So basically that party has to get at least 5% of the vote in order to get 1 seat. Can only hold Duma position, no other government jobs, must be 21, it's a 5-year term, and this mixed system began again in 2016. The Federation Council then is known as the Upper House, 170 members, 2 senators from each region. Originally, it consisted of a regional governor and a head of the regional Duma. Today, they're chosen, so kind of like how our Senate used to be chosen in the United States. The senator is chosen by the regional legislature. 1 senator is chosen by the governor of each region with approval. There's the Duma. So the Duma then, they draft laws. They also can be drafted by the president, laws can, and the regional legislatures. But all bills must be first considered in the Duma. The bill then goes to the Federation Council. After going through both houses, it's sent to the president. So both houses can override a presidential veto. The Duma also confirms the appointment of the prime minister. However, they can reject it, but if all 3 candidates are rejected, the president is empowered to appoint a prime minister, dissolve parliament, and order new elections. So they would not want to do that. There's a look at the political parties there. United Russia, which is kind of the following of Putin, controls the Duma. They have a majority. There's the prime minister since 2020. Has more of an administrative role, runs the government. Basically serves the president at will, especially under Putin. Nominates different cabinet members, submits presidential proposals, represents the government at different meetings with with other countries and with foreign relations, and then signs acts of government. The Federation Council, they're known as the Upper House, less power, deals more with regional issues, can reject some bills from the Duma. They can form a compromise commission. Then the State Duma votes on that bill. the State Duma objects to the proposals of the upper house, a 2/3 vote will send the Duma's version to the president. So basically, they're more of a reviewing body and only meet one day every 2 weeks. Within that Federation Council, they do have an individual, the chairwoman, but the chairwoman kind of just follows what Putin wants. And the last part of the Federation Council, again, it's supposed to be a federal system here in Russia, but Putin has kind of shrunk those regions and their power in those regions. So the creation of super districts to oversee all these different regions, Putin now has the power, even though these governors are elected, to remove, and kind of hasn't removed anyone yet, but will force people to resign. And he also has the power to confirm regional legislatures. So basically, he has turned the Federation Council what is known as a rubber stamp institution. So an institution that just kind of follows what's going on and says, okay.